The Miami Dolphins are finished up with their bye week. That simply means we're back to Dolphins content here on the Big Fight Field channel. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Big Fight Field channel, where we speak the truth, we're honest, and we give our takes on the Miami Dolphins. It is Tuesday night. We got a couple things to talk about. Not too long of a podcast tonight, okay? It's a big week. It's Thanksgiving week. I'm very thankful for each and every one of you who tune into the podcast every single week here on the Big Fight Field channel. I am thankful for all my subscribers and listeners. You guys mean the absolute world to me. I hope you guys spent your bye week very nicely. I know I did. I was at AEW Full Gear on Saturday night, and it was a tremendous pay-per-view. One of the better AEW shows of the entire year, in my opinion. I did a vlog. It is over 3,000 views. It'll be available. It is always going to be available, but it'll be up on this podcast in the last 20 seconds. All you have to do when you see it is click on it, and it'll take you right to the vlog from the Prudential Center, Newark, New Jersey. Had a fantastic time. So many good matches on that show. A new AEW World Champion in Samoa Joe. Just such a fun night at the Prudential Center. It was my 7th professional wrestling show of the entire year, and when it comes to wrestling vlogs on the Big Fight Field channel, we have hit a grand slam this year. You guys are always coming out for the vlogs, subscribing. It's a nice feeling, man. It's a nice feeling. So you guys love when I go to wrestling shows. So that means in 2026, we are not slowing the train down. We will be going to more professional wrestling shows as we approach 2026. So I'm thankful for all of you guys who tuned in to the vlog, and it will be up in the last 20 seconds of this podcast. All you gotta do is click on it, and it'll take you right to the vlog. AEW Full Gear from the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. Okay. So, I want to dive right into it. Let's not waste any much time. The Miami Dolphins were on a bye week last week. Did they get any help playoff-wise? No, they really didn't. The only thing that happened that went their way was the Chicago Bears beating the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that didn't really mean much at the end of the day. So, where do things stand right now between the Miami Dolphins and the playoffs? Because it is clear that this team is not tanking, okay? I think we're past that. I think that we are not on the levels of teams like the Raiders and the Browns and the Jets and the Saints and the Giants and those bottom tier teams that could be drafting a quarterback in the NFL draft. I think the Dolphins have surpassed them. Doesn't mean I think they're a good team anymore. This season has been an absolute disaster from the word go. But the Dolphins, they fire Chris Greer after an abysmal loss to the Baltimore Ravens on Thursday Night Football, 28-6. You're 2-7. You throw in the towel for the season, and after that loss, you come back, you put up the performance of a lifetime against the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen has maybe his worst game of the season, and you smack the Bills all day long, and then you go to Spain, and you have an absolute dogfight with a 3-7 team, and you go to overtime with them. You come out on top, but you have fans questioning whether or not you're capable of this run after watching that game. So now you're off a bye. The Miami Dolphins are 4-7 going into Thanksgiving, and you see the title. Are the Miami Dolphins capable of going on a run in the final 6 games of the season? If you guys don't know, I am going to read you the final 6 games of the Miami Dolphins season to you. I'm going to pull it up just to make sure. Okay. I mean, I know it by heart, but just for you guys, I'm going to read like the details of it. So, these are the final 6 games of the season for the Miami Dolphins. This week, they are taking on the 2-9 New Orleans Saints, 1 o'clock at Hard Rock Stadium. Next week, they are taking on the 2-9 New York Jets, 1 o'clock at MetLife Stadium. I will be there, okay? I'll talk more about that later in the week, probably Friday on the preview show. We'll get more into that. But I'll be at MetLife Stadium next week for Dolphins Jets. The following week, the Dolphins go to Pittsburgh on the road on Monday Night Football. Okay? The following week, they play the Cincinnati Bengals on Sunday Night Football. Joe Burrow or no Joe Burrow, I think that game is getting flexed. Joe Burrow is back. He's playing Thanksgiving night against the Ravens, but if we're being honest here, with the Patriots versus the Ravens on the table, I think this game against Cincinnati is going to get flexed. And then the following week, we play Tampa Bay, 1 o'clock at Hard Rock Stadium. And then the end of the season, we go on the road to Foxborough against the New England Patriots. So we have Saints, Jets, Steelers, Bengals, Buccaneers, Patriots to end the season. You can sit here and make a case for the Miami Dolphins to win every single one of those games. You really can. But with these 6 games, we're now late into the season and we are on the graphics as in the hunt. So the Miami Dolphins are in the hunt for the playoffs, which is absolutely absurd. You think 2 weeks ago we're sitting at 2-7. There's no fucking shot. We are throwing in the towel on the season. Here we are, 2 days before Thanksgiving. Miami Dolphins are in the hunt graphic, okay, on all these shows. So, you can make a case for the Miami Dolphins to win all 6 of these games to end the season. But what are some things that this team needs to do for them to accomplish that? Number one, this is things they haven't been able to do late in the season. Okay, I want to clarify that. These are things the Miami Dolphins haven't been able to do in the Mike McDaniel era late in the season. Okay? Number one, that is win in December and January. The Miami Dolphins have not been able to do that under Mike McDaniel. The 2 playoff games they got in January, they didn't win either of them. They lost by 3 to Buffalo in 2022, and in 2023, they got smoked on the road by the Kansas City Chiefs. The Dolphins, late in the season, haven't won games in December or January. They didn't win late in the season last year. We needed them to go into Lambeau Field on Thanksgiving night, and they weren't able to do that. They got their doors blown off of them. They needed to go into Houston in a domed stadium, and they couldn't do it. Okay? Even last year, the last week of the season, they needed to beat the Jets, who were 4-12 at this point, at the last week of the season last year. And they couldn't do it. They just simply couldn't do it. So that's the first thing the Miami Dolphins need to do is they need to win games late in the season. And that is December and January. December is the most important month of the entire NFL season because it is the last stretch to the playoffs. Sorry, excuse me. Number 2, beat good teams. The Miami Dolphins haven't been able to beat good teams late in the season, whether that's in 2022, the time they had to play the 49ers, Chargers, and Bills all on the road, even the Packers on Christmas Day, they couldn't beat them. They couldn't beat the 3 best teams in the AFC in 2023, the Ravens, the Bills, and the Chiefs. They couldn't do it last year when they had to go to Lambeau to play the Packers and they had to go to Houston to play the Texans. They haven't been able to beat good teams late in the season. Now, I know what you're probably saying watching this is, man, they just beat the Buffalo Bills 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, however long it was. And you're right by that. And the Buffalo Bills are a good team. And the Miami Dolphins did beat a good team this year. But they shot themselves so many times in the foot this year that it almost feels like it doesn't matter. It almost feels like it doesn't matter. So it's like we beat a good team, but we didn't do it late in the year. And the big question, the biggest question, my biggest concern, I'm going to tell you right now, and this kind of ties into my topic. This kind of ties into my topic next. And my biggest concern is them going on the road to play the Steelers week 15. That's my biggest concern. The rest of the year, as a fan of the Dolphins, that game is my biggest concern. Going on the road on a primetime game on a Monday night in a cold environment. And that ties into topic number 3, is the Miami Dolphins haven't been able to go on the road and win in the cold late in the season. They just haven't done it. And yes, the Jets absolutely suck. They are a horrible football team. But the Dolphins are going to face a challenge next week. And that is going to be playing outside in a cold environment. Maybe we get lucky and it's a 50-degree day, but it's December. So what are the chances of that happening? It's more than likely going to be cold outside, and the Dolphins are going to have to go play football in a cold environment. They have to do it twice, back-to-back weeks, against the Jets and against the Steelers. Obviously, the Steelers are a much better football team than the New York Jets are. That's going to be a challenge for the Dolphins, and it's something that they haven't been able to do in the Mike McDaniel era once. They didn't do it in 2022. They didn't do it in 2023. They didn't do it last year. And we'll see if they can do it this year. So those are the 3. For this run to happen, those are the 3 biggest challenges. Is winning late in the season, beating good teams late in the season, and winning on the road in the cold. And I forgot to mention that last game of the season against the Patriots, even if the Patriots are starting their backups in that game, if they have everything they can clinched, including the 1 seed, then yeah, it's still going to be a challenge against the Patriots backups because the Dolphins are going to be playing in a cold environment late in the year in January. So it all starts this week. And this week, it seems like that the Dolphins can make the Dolphins are going to get reinforcements. Austin Jackson seems like he's going to play. We don't know. We won't know anything until tomorrow with practice, because they'll be logging in their practices. Darren Waller has his 21-day window open. Um, Hopefully he plays this week. If he doesn't play this week, next week then against the Jets, I don't necessarily know if we're going to need Darren Waller against the Saints. I mean, at this point in the year, you're 4-7. You can't there's no margin for error. Um, all hands on deck is the mentality for the Miami Dolphins. Literally, all hands on deck. The rest of the season. So if we can get Darren Waller back for this game, awesome. If we don't, hopefully he's back next week against the Jets. But I really think that this game against the Saints, a Saints team that is probably not going to have Alvin Kamara. This game is very important. This game is very important to the Miami Dolphins and to this fan base, because I really think to make us want to believe that this team can go on a run, they need to make a statement this week against the Saints. They cannot play a game like they did against Washington. If they host the Saints on Sunday and they are in a dogfight for 3 hours and it's tight and it's low scoring or whatever kind of game it is, if it's a dogfight and they're going back and forth, they're going tit for tat with the New Orleans Saints, who are the worst team in the NFC, yeah, you're going to make no one believe that this team is capable of going on a run. Now, if you do what you're supposed to do against the Saints and you handle business and you win convincingly against the Saints with a good offensive performance, let me reiterate that. A good offensive performance against the New Orleans Saints this weekend, then yeah, maybe you will open a couple fans' eyes. Maybe you will get fans starting to believe. But now the concern is it's the same thing as last year. You get fans to believe at 5-6, and all of a sudden you let us down at the end of the season, like good old-fashioned Miami Dolphins always do. So they need to straight up handle business against the New Orleans Saints this weekend, and I will feel a lot better about this situation, about the Miami Dolphins potentially going on a run. They need to handle business against the 2-9 New Orleans Saints this weekend. So we will be here to preview that game some point on Friday. So that's all I got for you guys. That's all I got for y'all. Thank you all so much for watching the video. Subscribe to the Big Fight Fuel channel. We got an exciting week. Dolphins are back hosting the Saints. We'll have the preview on Friday. Post-game recap on Sunday, right after the Dolphins take on the Saints. So subscribe to the channel. Comment down below your thoughts on the possibility. Can the Miami Dolphins do it? Can they win out and potentially make the playoffs? And another thing I forgot to talk about is the AFC is so stacked that going 10-7 doesn't guarantee you a playoff spot, just by how good the AFC is. So, but leave me know your thoughts below. Can the Miami Dolphins go on this run? Can the Dolphins finish the season 10-7? I want to know your opinion and the thoughts below. Hit the like button if you like what you heard from me. Follow me on Twitter and TikTok, Colin_Joseph. And I will see you guys Friday for the preview of Saints Dolphins. Have a good night. Stay safe. And as always, go Dolphins.